So thank you to everybody for stopping by the channel, checking out my video once again. I really do appreciate it. Remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate you guys being here. On today's video, I'm going to talk about the Vance Hines Eliminator 3-inch slip-on exhaust for your Harley-Davidson Softail. So before I start talking specifically about the Vance Hines exhaust, I want to touch real quick on the factory exhaust and just kind of give you my thoughts on it. The factory exhaust that these bikes come with is a lot of guys are going to say that they're extremely quiet, way too quiet, which I don't really think that they are. First of all, a lot of places, well, the main place really where you have trouble hearing a factory exhaust is while you're cruising down the highway and you have a lot of wind noise. Well, I could hear this one on the highway, so it wasn't too big of a deal, but I mean, part of the reason why we all buy Harley-Davidsons or big V-twin cruisers is so we can, you know, feel them and hear them. I mean, it's just cool, right? So the factory exhaust, from my point of view, was sufficient, but I still wanted something that sounded, you know, had that classic Harley sound to it. So I decided to get online and start shopping for slip-on exhausts. Now, I didn't want to do a full exhaust system on it without going through Harley-Davidson to have it done, and the reason for that being is because I have the extended warranty on this bike and I didn't want to void the warranty. So what I did is I went down to my Harley-Davidson dealership and I spoke to the guy in charge of the service department down there and asked him if I was going to get any grief if I put a set of slip-ons on this bike. He told me no, they're not going to give me any grief about it, but some other dealerships or service places might, depending on, like, say if I you know, broke down or had to have my bike worked on at some other dealership somewhere else in the country, that they might give me crap about it, but they're not going to. So I decided I was going to start looking for exhaust to buy and put on my bike. Now, the one thing that really drew me to this particular set of slip-on exhaust was the fact that when I was reading the reviews on it, a lot of guys said that it's too quiet. And I pretty much knew right away that this was probably the exhaust that I wanted to buy, because when a lot of guys say that, you know, an exhaust is too quiet for, you know, for people like me, that means, you know, it probably just sounds good and is not loud and obnoxious and it doesn't piss people off. So I didn't want to buy an exhaust that was going to be extremely loud and obnoxious and piss off my neighbors. Basically, I wanted an exhaust that I could start up my bike in the morning and take off on it and, well, not piss off my neighbors. So anyways, the exhausts themselves, I know in the name it says that they're slip-ons, but this particular set of exhausts aren't exactly slip-on. And what I mean by that is the bottom one went on just fine, but the top one required some grinding with a Dremel to get it on, because right at the front of the muffler where they weld, I guess, the two pieces or the two parts together, the heat basically expanded the metal, and down inside there I had to take a Dremel and grind out the inside of the exhaust so that it would finally, you know, slip onto the factory exhaust. So that took me a while to do. You know, I probably spent an hour grinding, trying to slip it on, take it back off, grind some more out, and so on and so forth. But I finally got it to fit, and I'm happy with it now. But if you guys are thinking about getting this set of slip-on exhaust, just keep that in mind. You're going to have to do a little bit of grinding to get them to fit, which kind of sucks. That's something they should take care of at the factory and make sure that these things fit before they get boxed up and sent away. So, but I really do like the sound of this exhaust. Like the review said, it's pretty quiet. It's not obnoxiously loud like some other sets of exhaust are, and I'm fine with that. So let's see, I think there's a well, there's a cluster F going on up here. What the heck is this? There are mass amounts of geese crossing the road. I don't know if you guys watched my other video, but this little parking lot over here where this office building is where I pulled the turtle out of the parking lot to make sure you wouldn't get run over. Them geese have been rather busy during the quarantine. Isn't that cool how the parents, how they herd the little ones? That's cool. Alright. You guys came here to listen to and see exhaust. So I'm going to get off the bike over here and kind of do a little walk around and show you the pipes. And then I will do a little video clip. Okay, so let's take a look at the pipes. And I'll put some B-roll footage in here to kind of, and some pictures to show you better what the pipes look like. So here they are, the Vance Hines Eliminator 3-inch slip-on exhaust. Now, I didn't have any problems installing them other than having to grind out the inside of the muffler, the top one right here, to get the pipes to fit. Other than that, everything went on just fine. That's hot. And the fit and finish on them, it matches the factory finish really well. Looks nice, if you can see that. Looks really good. So, one thing to note, when I first put these on and I fired them up, the bike was sitting kind of with the back facing towards the garage. So the garage is open, and it sounded extremely loud. And I was like, oh boy, these things are going to be too loud for me. So what I did is, just like an hour later, I went ahead and ordered the optional baffles that you can put in there to quiet them down. But when I pulled it out of the garage and I rode it the next day, it sounded really pretty loud. But I guess I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think that once the packing inside the mufflers kind of heated up and maybe expanded or something like that, the mufflers got quieter. So I didn't end up using the baffles that I had bought for it. So just after riding it for a little while, they quiet down. They're not as loud as they are when you first install them. So if you buy these mufflers, just kind of keep that in mind. But I think they look pretty great on this bike. All things considered, it matches the aesthetics, so I'm super, super happy with it. But anyways, that's that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up a little camera. Actually, let me show you this thing. It's kind of cool. Let me get my gloves off here. And this is kind of an experiment. I don't know if this is going to work as well as I'm hoping that it does, but what this is right here, it's a Sony HDR MV1, and I hope you can see that if it's in the camera just right. I have this set on Super View, trying something a little bit different. I also have a DJI Osmo Action that I'm going to try to do motovlogging with here pretty soon too. I'm kind of a camera geek. I love cameras and motorcycles and old cars and guns and guitars and video games, and the list goes on. But check this out, this little guy. What this is a music recorder. And what makes it really cool is that the sound coming out of this thing, or that it records, is supposed to be pretty high quality stuff. And what's really neat about this thing, not only is it a sound recorder for music, but it also has a built-in video camera on it. So we're going to use this to record the sound of the exhaust. So I'm going to place this on the ground right here, and I'm going to be about 6 feet away and just set this guy down. And I'm pretty sure that the wind is probably going to screw with this just a little bit, but it's a very wide angle lens on that camera. So I'm going to hit record on this, and hopefully the sound of the exhaust will kind of override the wind, because it's always windy around here. No matter what you do, the wind is always blowing around here, unless it's 1,000,000 degrees and there's no wind when you want it. But anyways, I'm going to hit record on this guy and fire up the bike so you can see or hear what it sounds like. Okay, so like I said, we're the little camera, audio recorder is about 6 feet away from the tailpipe, and I'm going to pull out my phone and dig up the little decibel meter reader thingy here. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can get this in the camera view right here. So basically just sitting there idling, we're right at 75 decibels. Hopefully you can see that. So it's not very loud at all. I mean, it's above conversation level. Now let me rev the bike up just a little bit and see what we got. I'm going to record the decibels as I'm standing here next to the bike. So we're at 2,000 RPMs and we're right at about 91 decibels. So as you're riding down the highway, you're doing about 2,000 RPMs. So that's what you're going to be hearing. RPMs, 97 decibels. And there's the Decibel pop. So, as you can see, it sounds pretty good. Not overly loud, but it's got a nice sound to it for sure. It's not very loud. I think it's just loud enough. So my opinion of the Vance Hines Eliminator 3-inch slip-on exhaust, other than the installation, I give it a big thumbs up. I really do like it. So I'm hoping that the audio turns out well from this thing, but I'm sure there's probably going to be some wind noise. So forgive me. I probably need to get a dead cat for this or something, but I do have other ways of more accurately recording audio files, but I thought I'd want to come out here and play with this little thing because I like messing around with new gadgets and stuff. And look at the footage of this. It's probably kind of crappy. I mean, it records in 1080p, but it doesn't tell you what the frame rate is. Like it's 30 frames per second, 24, 60, who knows? I don't know. It's just doing its thing. But anyways, yeah, let's see. Let's stop here. So, there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I think I'm going to walk over there. I don't know if you want to stick around. I'm going to maybe walk over there and take a look at the geese. Look at all those geese out there. Isn't that cool? Man, they sure do make a mess though. There's feathers and poop everywhere. This is like a little oasis here in town. That big old hillside over there kind of separates the town of Yakima from Sela, and there's only one way through. That's where the bridges are by the river, but on this side of that hill, it's kind of like a little oasis back here in this office park, and it's really kind of neat. You know, they got geese, and they got turtles, as I found out. They got frogs, you know, cattails, and these little ponds back here. So how's everybody doing during the quarantine, the lockdown, and the apocalypse? Are you guys paying attention to all this crap going on around the world, or are you kind of like me and just trying to tune it all out? Because crap like this has happened before. It's going to happen again. Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are, what type of exhaust you have on your motorcycle, and what you think about it. If it was hard to install, easy to install, you know, what your impressions are of it. And as always, thank you for watching the video. Everybody ride safe and have a good day. We will see you on the next one.